everyone, to season 7, episode 9 of the Focus TV. Joined this evening by Octavia Wyatt, Raymond Lyons, Cardell Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarpe Jr. Let's get straight to it. It's officially the end of the NFL regular season, which means postseason is underway, like literally this week. And it also means we just hit like Black Monday, and we had some teams who were expected to lose votes, other folks who were not expected, and I'm sure Octavia gets into all of that as it pertains to a couple of teams in the NFC East.
Okay, make sure I'm not on mute. I first off would like to start by apologizing for my absence last week. It had absolutely nothing to do with how bad my team sucks. It happens to be a little under the weather, which could have been the reason because my team sucked. And maybe that's why I was under the weather. Don't know. But I'm here and we still suck. But to be honest, these last two games, there were two games in the division. The Washington Commanders played against the Dallas Cowboys, and the New York Giants played against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not even going to dwell on both of these games because both of them were blowouts. To be honest, the Dallas Cowboys defeated the Washington Commanders 38-10. Sam Howell was 19 of 27, 153 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 4 carries for -1 yards and sacked 4 times. Brian Robinson Jr. had 9 carries for 25 yards and 3 receptions for 10 yards and 1 touchdown. And Terry McLaurin had 6 receptions for 56 yards. And on the other side, the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott was 31 of 36, 279 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Was not sacked at all. Tony Pollard had 17 carries for 70 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 16 yards. CeeDee Lamb had 13 receptions for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns and 1 carry for 7 yards. Brandon Cooks had 6 receptions, 39 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 carry for 3 yards. Jalen Tolbert had 2 receptions for 8 yards and 1 touchdown. 38-10, the better team won. I think Washington thought they were doing something in the beginning. That was cute. It didn't last. There's really nothing to dwell on. The better team won, and Washington is already getting ready to start their off season. So I really just want to kind of give a little bit of the teams that's not going to be mentioned at least next week at all. Just a little bit of a wrap up. So the Washington Commanders finished their season 4-13, 4th in the NFC East. They will officially pick 2nd in the 2024 draft. I always like to look at what people think their biggest needs are. I believe that they probably have a lot. I don't think towards the end of the season, Sam Howell really solidified himself as the guy. And when you have a top 2 pick and you possibly have a Caleb Williams or a Drake Man coming out, pretty sure you're going to go with one of those. So I would hope this franchise is doing new things and not be the bad team does bad things situation any further. So we'll see how that goes. But the helm of the team has been replaced. Well, not been replaced, but has been relieved of their duties. Head coach Ron Rivera has been released. Of course, earlier in the year, defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio also was released. And then they also fired their defensive back coach Brent Gleismeyer. So they have a lot that they're looking to do. Of course, they're trying to figure out who's going to take over their team. And so they actually have a pretty lengthy list of some people that they are already put in requests for interviews for their open positions. As far as head coach interviews requests, they have requested to speak with Aaron Glenn, who's the Lions defensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, who is the Lions offensive coordinator, Mike McDonald, which is the Ravens defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, who's the Rams defensive coordinator, Dave Quinn, who is the Cowboys defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, Ravens assistant head coach and defensive line coach. They are also in the market for a head of football operations, so they also have interview requests out for that. They've also requested to speak to Mike Borgonzi, Chiefs assistant general manager, Glenn Cook, which is the Browns assistant general manager and vice president of player personnel, Ian Cunningham, Bears assistant general manager, Alec Hallaby, Eagles assistant general manager, and Adam Peters, 49ers assistant general manager. There's already been some talks that Josh Harris has put together this collective that's supposed to help him figure out the direction of the Washington Commanders. One notable person that is on that list is Bob Myers, who, of course, was in charge of the dynasty that was in Golden State, who recently left the NBA. I think he's doing some commentating now. But I guess now he'll be assisting the Washington Commanders to figure out what their next move is going to be. Um, you're hoping, if you're a Commanders fan, that this is just a clean slate and, you got the ownership out. Now you're going to be able to start fresh this year and kind of see how it goes. But just another lackluster season for them, unfortunately. I think Ron Rivera may have had one playoff appearance in his tenure there for the 4 seasons. So sad for them. I'll get back to the Cowboys in a second, just because they will be playing next week. So then we'll talk quickly about the Philadelphia Eagles played against the New York Giants. The New York Giants annihilated the Philadelphia Eagles 27-10. Jalen Hurts was 7 of 16 for 55 yards, one interception, and 2 carries for 4 yards. He was sacked 2 times. He left the game early. Marcus Mariota replaced him. He was 13 of 20, 148 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. DeAndre Swift did not play, so who started in the running back position was Kenneth Gainwell, 7 carries for 62 yards. Plus Watkins had 8 receptions for 93 yards and 1 touchdown. On the other side, the New York Giants, Tyrod Taylor was 23 of 32, 297 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 8 carries for 38 yards. He was sacked once. Tommy DeVito did step in for two passes during this game. Him and Tyrod Taylor were going back and forth with pretending who was hurt and who was good. But Tommy DeVito was 2 for 2 for 14 yards. He was also sacked once. Saquon Barkley had 18 carries for 46 yards and 2 touchdowns and 2 receptions for 51 yards. And Darius Slayton had 5 receptions for 62 yards and 1 touchdown. It was a blowout. And it wasn't a blowout for the fact that people are going to say, well, a lot of players didn't play for the Philadelphia Eagles. They had enough players not to get blown out. They got blown out in the second quarter. And that's when the players that did play got pulled and they didn't play for the rest of the game. A lot of injuries piling up as well for them, but we'll get into that later. Just to kind of wrap up for the New York Giants, they finished the season at 6-11, third in the NFC East. They will pick 6th in the 2024 draft. I guess figuring out what their needs are going to be is really going to see what they do in the offseason, who they retain. If Saquon leaves, that's definitely going to be a big position that they need to fill. Do they still believe in off of a knee injury? How will he be when season starts? And having a pretty high pick, who knows? A lot of people like to trade up to kind of get a better player, so we'll never know until we get closer and closer to the draft. But yeah, they overperformed last year, underperformed this year, unfortunately for them. And then they also have a few changes going on for them. Their defensive coordinator, Don Wink Martindale, resigned yesterday after 2 seasons. I believe they said that Brian Daboll had expected both Mike Kafka and Wink Martindale, who's the offensive and defensive coordinators, to be back next year. But Wink Martindale had different things he wanted to do. Of course, earlier in the season, there were rumblings that they weren't getting along. He's apparently come out and said that he's just looking for other opportunities, whether it be a defensive coordinator somewhere else or possibly a head coaching position. So this just happened yesterday. So the New York Giants have not really put together an interview list. I'm sure that they're going to have to find somebody to fill those shoes because, to be honest, the defense was the one thing that really kept them in a lot of games outside of on the offensive side with Saquon Barkley doing everything they could possibly do and the spark of Tommy DeVito. So they definitely got a lot to get back to the drawing board again. It's definitely like coming down to reality after the season they had last year, making the playoffs, to this record of 6-11 and finish third in the NFC East. So they'll get back to it. They are already 1-2-3 Cancooning and getting ready for next year. So we'll talk about the Dallas Cowboys, who I believe in the NFC East has the best opportunity to make it to a Super Bowl. Just some stats off of ESPN. The odds to win the Super Bowl for them are plus 750, and their chances of making the Super Bowl is 25%. They will play this Sunday, 4:30, in Wild Card Weekend. They ended up as the number 2 seed, winning the NFC East. So they will play Sunday at 4:30 against the Green Bay Packers. It will be a home game. That's probably the biggest thing a lot of people been talking about. I think they're 8-0 at home this year. So definitely, of course, you would be more comfortable and confident in yourself when you're playing at home, especially with any of the road woes that you want to say that they've had this year. But I mean, to be honest, this is probably their best opportunity in a while to really get to a conference championship and actually have a good opportunity to win a conference championship and get to a Super Bowl. We're all pretty much assuming that the conference championship would be between them and the San Francisco 49ers, which means Dallas would then have to travel to San Francisco. But of course, you never want to get too overzealous and overlook the opponent in front of you. They'll be playing against the Green Bay Packers, who them and the Packers have had some pretty epic playoff, games against each other. So this is the Cowboys' third straight playoff appearance. And they played against the Packers a lot of times. This will be the 9th time they've met in the playoffs. The postseason series is tied 4-4, but Dallas has dropped the past 2 in a most recent 34-31 walk-off loss to the Packers at home in the 2016 divisional round. But like I said, everything is falling into line for them to be able to go out there and prove a lot of the Dallas haters wrong. I'm probably one of those, but that's okay. Prove them wrong. This is probably the best opportunity. There's storylines galore, of course. Mike McCarthy, he won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love has been playing well, but he's going to play well enough to come into AT&T Stadium on Wild Card Weekend. That would be a shock. So I'm expecting the Dallas Cowboys to take care of business, but we all know how the game goes. You never know what may happen, but I expect for them to finish it out. They did finish the season 12-5. They did win the NFC East. They were first in the NFC East, and I believe this is their third straight season with 12 wins. And the curse continues. There has not been a repeat NFC East champion in like the last 20 years, and it has concluded again. I think the last time was 2004. So we're right at the 20-year mark. But yeah, the Dallas Cowboys definitely poised to make a deep playoff season run. And to be honest, I don't expect anything less because they've really been hitting on all cylinders. As long as they play how they've been playing and CeeDee Lamb just keeps killing it, and God forbid any injuries or anything, they are definitely in a good position. Last but not least, the Philadelphia Eagles. They are barely in the playoffs. They will play on Wild Card Weekend. I don't know who decides this every time. I don't know why we got to play on Monday night. It's like, why don't we play like 1:00 on a Saturday or something? But they'll play Monday night, Martin Luther King Day. It's just going to disappoint Martin Luther King. I just don't know. They will be traveling down to Tampa Bay to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who won the NFC South. They did play each other earlier this year in a game where the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Buccaneers 25-11. But these are two totally different teams on both sides. The Philadelphia Eagles are not the team that played in week 3, and as well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't the team that played in week 3 as well. Baker Mayfield has definitely had a resurgence in the last half of the season. Point being, I lost my quarterback in fantasy football. Justin Herbert got hurt. Only one I could pick up was Baker Mayfield, and he was killing it, and he helped me win my fantasy football season. So he's been doing amazing. Him and Mike Evans definitely are on the same page. I think a lot of people don't give Mike Evans the credit that he deserves as one of the top wide receivers in the game as well. It's definitely going to be a situation. If I'm being honest, and this is not even being pessimistic or being woe is me, I really don't think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this. It's bad. It's real bad, and there's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way to like placate it or anything. If the Philadelphia Eagles come out and play the way they've been playing these last 6 weeks, they're going to get ran out of the building, especially on an away game. So it's very much a possibility of a one and done for them. And I mean, it's not like it hasn't happened before. As we know, Jalen Hurts' first playoff series game was against the Buccaneers. Granted, that was when Tom Brady was there, but they got embarrassed in that game as well. So that, unfortunately, they have some injuries happening right now. Jalen Hurts injured his finger. It's not broken, but he's day to day. You know, AJ Brown left the last game with the knee injury. Devontae Smith left the game previously to that with the knee injury. DeAndre Swift was out the last game with an illness. Sidney Brown, the standout rookie, he just tore his ACL, so he's done for the year as well. So it's a tough time. It's going to be a tough situation. But they have the player personnel if everybody's able to play the way that they was played earlier in the year. But it's definitely going to be an uphill climb for them in this game. But I almost wore an Eagles shirt just to commemorate the last time for the season. But I decided to be a little bit more optimistic. So we'll see what happens next week. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy that we have finished the season. It's over and done with. Just to kind of give you the full schedule of everything. I know we just talked about the two NFC East teams. But Saturday, January 13th, the number 5 Cleveland Browns will play at the number 4 Houston Texans, AFC South champions, Texans, at 4:30. And then after that game, the 6-seeded Miami Dolphins will play at the 3-seeded Kansas City Chiefs. On Sunday, the 7-seeded Steelers, who have snuck their way into the playoffs, will play at the number 2 Bills, who at the last second was able to pull it out and win the AFC East. I think they said for the 3rd or 4th straight year. They'll play at 1 p.m. on CBS. The number 7 Packers will play at the number 2 Cowboys at 4:30. Number 6 Rams will play at the number 3 Lions at 8 o'clock. Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit for a playoff game when Detroit has not had a playoff game in Ford Field ever is going to be a crazy storyline. And then, of course, last but not least, on Monday, the Eagles will play at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, man, everybody's looking forward to what is it? What are they calling now? Super Wild Card Weekend.
I'm not, but it's cool.
I wanted to throw super in front of it. That said, yeah, end of the regular season, postseason begins.
Awards come soon. That's what I'm really. That's probably the next thing I'm really waiting for, to see who wins postseason awards.
Oh, for sure. Because everyone's going to be mad about something. So can't wait for the outrage because of, the fake outrage from 2023 is, I'm sure, to continue in 2024. That said, we'll go ahead and transition from the NFC East and NFL playoffs to the Washington Wizards. Ray, the floor is yours.
Yeah, since we've last spoken, the Wizards have been busy. They've lost 4 games in a row since last Tuesday. Kicking things off with the 140-101 loss against Cleveland. Followed that up with a loss to Cleveland on Friday. And then they came back home and lost to the Knicks on Saturday and lost to Oklahoma City last night. I mean, we've seen this story enough times this season. They just don't play defense. That's the long and short of it, man. And teams know that, and they just wait for their chance to take the kill shot, and they take it, and the Wizards never respond, and it's game over. They showed a little bit more fight than normal last night. OKC, the lead was pretty much hovering around 10 to 12 the entire game. They could never really break it open. And kudos to the Wizards for, at least sticking around. But I mean, it's no moral victories in the pros, man. They got to show, they got to have some pride. They got to be better than this. They lost last night to Oklahoma City. The score was 136 to 128. Chet Holmgren and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just pretty much had their way. Then Oklahoma City got a great punch from Jalen Williams. On Wizards Outlook last night, Cardell just kind of pointed out the damage he'd been doing this season. Putting up 18, 5, and 4 on 50% from the field. A lot of that will go unnoticed because of the star power he's next to. Chet Holmgren is making a case for Rookie of the Year, and SGA is making a case for MVP. So, it's kind of easy to overlook what Jalen Williams brings to that team. But yeah, man, he showed everything he contributes last night, man. And for the Wizards, Jordan Poole, he had a huge third quarter. He scored 15 points in that period. And it's always good to see him kind of get into a flow because he's struggled mightily this season. So whenever he has a chance to, just kind of have a good stretch, you like to see that from him. He just needs to find a way for those not to be so far and few between. Kuzma, he did what he could. He rebounded the ball a little bit better. On Saturday against the Knicks, he finished the first half with 0 rebounds. That just can't happen, man. You got a 6'10" guy with his athleticism. You got to rebound the basketball, especially with that being a struggling point for the Wizards. They've been dominated on the glass pretty much every game the entire season. So, yeah, that's an area where they expect Kuz to kind of dig in and make his presence felt. But yeah, man, they're 6-30. That should tell you that should tell you enough about how this season has gone. I mean, nobody was coming in here expecting them to be contenders of any sort, but it should be better than this. So, yeah, man, we'll see. They go to Indiana tomorrow night to play the Pacers, and then they finish off the week Saturday at Atlanta. So, yeah, man, it just doesn't get any easier for them, and the moment they start to play defense, then maybe we'll see some type of change in these results. But with 36 games in, it's not going to happen. If it does, then great, and I'll gladly eat my words. But they're going to have to show me.
Are you saying there's been more than enough of a sample size, right? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
All right. Look, we're going to take our first break. When we get back, going to jump into college basketball, which should be a little bit more of a more positive vibes from a basketball standpoint. Tonight's show, you're watching the Focus TV. We'll be back in just a few seconds. Welcome back to the Focus TV college basketball segment. As always, Cardell, you ready to start with George Washington?
Yep. George Washington, man, continues their strong run. I would say to start the season, but we're in conference play. But about halfway through, they sit currently in second place, 12-3 in the A10. And a big reason for that is James Bishop. He provided another memorable moment to his legendary GW career, hitting a game-winning shot with 1.7 seconds left to the GW pass VCU 84-82 on Saturday night at the Siegel Center on the road. After GW inbounded with the 11.7 seconds to go, Bishop drove the ball to the short corner, spun to create just enough separation, and saw his off-balance leaner go in over Zeb Jackson from VCU. The basket gave 28 points in the game, including 23 of GW's 51 points in the second half. The Revolutionaries started slow. For those that don't know, they're not called the Colonials anymore. They're called the Revolutionaries. So you hear me saying Revolutionaries moving forward. That's why. They started slow, shooting just 36% in the opening half, but went into the locker room down just 35-33. The second half was a completely different story. GW was on fire. They shot 81% from the field, 17 to 21, including making his final 9 shots over the final 7 minutes of the game. Following a triple overtime heartbreaker, to say the least, on Wednesday against Fordham that featured 18 ties and 24 lead changes. Saturday was just about as thrilling, with 13 ties and 19 lead changes. While Bishop, he finished the game. Max Edwards kept GW in the game in the first half when they were starting off slow from the field. With 13 of his 20 points in the first half. Garrett Johnson added 14 to get a revolutionary 3 players in double digits. GW shot a season best 55% from the floor and held the Rams to 42% on the day. The win was only the second at the Siegel Center in program history and snapped a 6-game skid to the reigning ATN champs. Y'all gotta understand it's a long history. Y'all gotta remember the Shaka Smart days. It was hard to go into VCU, man. It was really hard, man. So that's why this is only their second win. And long since both joined the A10, man, that tells you how hard it's been to beat VCU. GW will now, have close to a week off before returning to action this Saturday against Davidson at 2 p.m. Also, news came down yesterday that because of that great performance, James Bishop was named A10 Player of the Week, and Darren Buchanan Jr., who had a big game in the triple overtime loss to Fordham, was named Rookie of the Week, respectively. Bishop catapulted GW to his first conference victory of the season on Saturday at VCU, obviously via his game winner. Bishop averaged an eye-popping 30 points per game over the 2 contests against Fordham and VCU. He shot 52% from the field, 54% from 3, and 81% from the line. He also added 5 rebounds per game, 4.5 assists per game, 1.5 blocks per game, and 1 steal per game. The game winner Saturday finished off with 28 points showing. Like I said, 23 of which came after halftime. In the loss to Fordham, when they went in triple overtime, playing 51 minutes, he finished with the season high 32 points, while adding 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and a career high 3 blocks. For the 4th straight year, Bishop is in the top 2 of the A10 scoring at 18.5 points per game. He also ranked 3rd in the league with 4.7 assists per game, which is why if you ever heard me talk about him, I always say he's the A10 James Harden, because he's lethal scoring in addition to rock. He can kill you both ways at the same time, or whichever way GW need him to go. He can mess you up bad either way. He is one of just 5 players nationally with those averages this year. Darren Buchanan, his first A10 game was a memorable one. He had 38 points. He game high 38 points in the triple overtime loss to Fordham, which is his career high and the most for a freshman in the NCAA this season. He was 15 to 30 from the floor, scoring the most points for a GW first-year player since Sir Valiant Brown's 42 points back in 1999. Yeah, that's a hell of a name to remember, man. Yeah, that boy can get it in. The DC native finished the week averaging 23.5 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals per game, while shooting 47.4% from the floor and 71.4% from the free throw line. While scoring 9 points on Saturday at VCU, Buchanan was instrumental in eliminating one of the round's top threats, Sean Barrowstall, to 2 of 13 shooting in GW's 2-point win. Buchanan is up to 14.7 points per game at his rookie debut in A10. He's the top rookie forward scored nationally and the 9th best first-year scorer overall in the NCAA. He also ranks 3rd overall in the A10 and field goal percentage at 56.4%.
Bro, those numbers.
Yeah, man, A10 Hill. I'm watching Mason now. They trying to hold on to first place, and after that Davidson game, is they finally meet up. So next Monday on MLK Day. So it's a collision course. Everybody been kind of waiting for that matchup. It's a lot on the line. It's a lot recruiting wise, A10 wise, later on the tournament wise when they trying to figure out who's gonna go in the tournament, seeding for the A10 championship. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Gotta love regular season games with them, with those level implications. Gotta love them.
Yeah.
You have to love them.
That's why I was trying to tell the Wizards fans, it's good basketball being played in the area. You just gotta go down a level. That's all.
I'm going back a few numbers. Bro, they shot 81% in a half of basketball.
They can get hot. They just young. They loaded. They got a lot of weapons. That's why James Bishop don't need to lead the team in scoring. Like last year, they were limited. It was him, Ricky Lendo, and Brandon Adams. Once you got past that three, it was it's a crapshoot. You know what I mean? And Hunter Dean the big, but he's more of a traditional athletic big. You can't really give him the rock and have him go one-on-one like that. But outside those four, it was a crapshoot. So Caputo and the staff did a great job. Transfer portal, recruiting, getting some freshmen up in there. And yeah, man, them boys hungry. In Darby County, he started out Virginia Tech. He redshirted, he didn't play. He transferred in. People should know he is. He won DC Player of the Year at Wilson. Did his thing. And then Garrett Johnson, he went to Princeton. He was Virginia Player of the Year a couple years back, but he was out. He had medical red shirts because he had a tumor in his hip. And it took him 2 years to finally get over that. So he transferred home, got healthy. And yeah, he torched him. 6'8" kid. He's killing shit. And so him and Madame Buchanan, they're red shirt freshmen, but they're not really freshmen. They've been in college, red shirt, they understand what it takes and they hungry. They haven't really had the chance to show what they can do because both different circumstances and whatnot, but they're producing, man. That's the reason why. They're getting in there. And it's good to see. So looking forward to that game on Monday. They handle business. Mason's ironically, George Mason's in the dogfight with VCU, who's annoying. And they're 8-7. That goes to show you how tough the league is. So these two are the top two teams in the league right now. And VCU's down 1 to Mason. It's 46-45 with 3 minutes left. And they're 8-7. So you gotta come to play. You gotta come play every night, man. And that's just with these two teams. We ain't talking about the Daytons and all those guys, and coming up, St. Louis and all those guys that's up there. St. Joe's that push Kentucky and all those teams. Yeah, it's gonna be a dogfight.
Hey man, looking forward to each and every update every week, and definitely next Monday.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Especially with the implications heard around the area and nationally. Always here for that. On to Maryland women's basketball. Some mixed news on that front, Some good news, some bad news, and we'll get to, I guess, the good news first, depending on how you want to look at it. Maryland opened the 2024 portion of this season with a 72-64 road win against Minnesota. Created a little separation in the second quarter. One of the plays that kind of stood out when they, I think, pushed the lead to 7 was Lavender Briggs driving kick to Bree McDaniels for a 3 on the left wing. Maryland had to rally out of the first quarter. Minnesota got off to a good start, but they were only up 21-18 after the first quarter. The second half, the teams traded shots. Maryland did a good enough job to kind of just keep Minnesota at bay. The Gophers cut the lead to 5 points several times, but Maryland was routinely able to push back and score just honestly timely buckets to keep them at bay. It was a very balanced effort from the Terps. Yeah, Shine Sellers and Ali Kubek scoring 15 points apiece. Sellers also added 3 boards, 8 assists, and 3 steals. Lavender Briggs had 13 off the bench, while Bree McDaniel and Renee Alexander scored 9 and 8 points respectively. Bree McDaniel was flirting with a triple-double. She also had 7 rebounds, 6 assists to go with those 9 points. Minnesota was led by Mara Braun and Sophie Hart, scoring 20 and 13 points for Minnesota. Maryland was able to slow down the quality of the looks for the Gophers. Minnesota started the game shooting 47% in the first quarter. Every quarter thereafter, Maryland was able to kind of just whittle that down. They didn't shoot 40% again for the rest of the night. They shot 31% in the second quarter and then 33% each in the third and fourth quarter. So Maryland defensively did enough to make sure that they got the W on the road. Maryland was set to host Purdue this past Sunday, but the game was postponed due to weather issues. That game is going to be made up this Sunday at Xfinity, so it's still a blackout game. Maryland fans, make sure you come back out to support the team like you attended through that horrible weather last weekend. As far as the bad news, earlier this evening, Maryland was on the road taking on Michigan State. They fell 74-69. So again, they'll take on Purdue on Sunday. Check it with you guys next week. They're going. It's just a rocky year for them. talk to you guys every week. They're still trying to find some level of consistency. The Big Ten's gotten better each and every year, and they're going to have to earn it. They're going to have to earn it to get back to where they normally are in conference play. So we'll see how it goes. It's really just that simple. We're going to take our second break. When we get back, we'll hop into rapid fire to see what Cardell has for us this week. You're watching the Focus TV. We'll be back in just a few seconds. Welcome back to the Focus TV as promised. Rapid fire. Cardell, what you got for us this week?
Yeah, we're going to start on the NFL side of things. Multiple Saints players defended Jameis Winston and his decision to run a play out of victory formation against the Atlanta Falcons. At least 5 current Saints and several former players defended Winston on social media after the backup quarterback handed the ball off to running back Jamal Williams to score a touchdown instead of taking a knee. Winston overruled Coach Dennis Allen's orders to take a knee and run out the clock in what eventually became a 48-17 victory for the NFC South rival. New Orleans tight end Jimmy Graham wrote on Monday on social media that critics should get off Winston's back. Quote, "This man is the best teammate I've ever had. Loves the city, this game, and embodies everything you can ask for in the leader. It's a rare situation, and we all take responsibility. Nobody thought it would get blown out of proportion. Also, F the Falcons." The players' defiance of Allen's play call coincides with public scrutiny of the Saints' leadership after the team missed the playoffs for the 3rd straight season. Saints defensive end and team captain Cameron Jordan also took to social media Monday to clarify an earlier comment where he discussed team leadership, emphasizing that he was talking about players like himself, not coaches. Quote, "If leadership is not what it needs to be, leadership can change, just like players can change." Jordan later wrote on social media, quote, "Nope, I was talking, getting more from players' leadership, starting with myself. The team goes as the players go. The players have rallied around themselves, and Winston, including Graham, a 13-year veteran who found himself in a similarly controversial situation in 2014 when he overruled then coach Sean Payton orders not to dunk the ball after a touchdown during a preseason game, causing a shouting match on the sideline. Graham, who was traded from the Saints after the 2014 season and returned the season, played only 7 snaps against the Falcons, including the final offensive play of what could be the 37-year-old's final game. He has not addressed his status, although he posted a tribute to the Saints on Twitter on Monday. Also unclear is the future of Winston, whose contract set the void this season, but the potential free agent echoed the sentiments of their teammates under contract, who all emphasized on social media and in interviews that the decision to get Williams a touchdown was a team decision and not just Winston going rogue. Octavia. 1, if you were the coach, how would you handle the situation with Jameis Winston? And do you feel like they were justified? Do you agree with the players, his teammates?
So I've always been a huge fan of, I don't care what the other team think. Like, if I always go back to when I was in high school, we beat a team 64-0. And my coach kept saying, let them score. We were like, no, they should probably try to score on their own. So, like, I'm never like the whole thing where it's like, oh, it's unprofessional to, score after you've been up by so much. So I already thought it was like, I don't really care. I didn't realize that it was because Jamal Williams hadn't scored a touchdown all season, even though he was hurt for a lot of the season this year, after leading the league in touchdowns last year. So as far as like Jameis Winston, like, again, it's not just on him, obviously. So I don't think they can try to quote unquote discipline him, because they all said it was a team thing. So I mean, I really think this is much to do about nothing. They scored a touchdown. So what? Like, they were already going to win. The Falcons were already going to lose. I can understand where it gets a little bit testy because they were in victory formation. So a lot of times the other team just doesn't think that they're going to do anything. But a lot of times when teams are in victory formation, the other team still goes extra hard and tries to knock the person over that's trying to kneel and let the clock go out. So it's a catch-22 either way you go. I think it's stupid that it's being talked about this much. It's a touchdown. Like, they won, they didn't stop them. I don't really care. I guess it would depend on, as far as between the players and the coach, whatever their dynamic and their relationship is, like if they already have a bad relationship and they were just like, F him, we're not gonna listen to him, we're gonna do what we want. That's one thing as compared to like we mess with him, like that's our coach. It's not like we're trying to say F him, but we want to do this for our teammate who hasn't scored a touchdown all year, and this is the perfect opportunity. So, I mean, I don't really care either way. I don't think if Jameis is, I would hope that if Jameis is not back next year, it has nothing to do with this play. It just happens to do with the fact that it's just not working out there for him. But I don't know who else they're going to have backing up Derek Carr, because Derek Carr get hurt every other game. So they're going to need somebody back there. And I'm sorry, Taysom Hill is not it. They keep trying to make Taysom Hill a thing. It's not a thing. So.
Right.
Man, I love it. Like, if you can't run the score up on your division rival, then what are you in the NFL for? Like, all these unwritten rules, and even in other sports, like in basketball, when people get mad when they dunk at the end, like maybe you should have tried harder for the previous 59 minutes of the game. And you probably wouldn't have been losing 41-10 to begin with. Like, so yeah, I don't care. Like, I don't care when teams do that. It is what it is. Yeah, like Octavia said, man, this is a whole bunch of hoopla over some nonsense. Yeah, whatever, man. Like, if it's just stupid. And the fact that the team responded this way should tell you everything you need to know about Dennis Allen. So that's that. But yeah, I have no problem with that. Like, if I was the opposing coach, my message to my team would be, don't be losing by 30 plus points and play as long as there's time on the clock. Like, I don't get it, but whatever, man. Luckily the playoffs are starting, so hopefully this will be a non-issue very soon. But yeah, it should have never got to this point to begin with.
Yeah, Wilson.
Yeah, I think the only concern or care I had to it was just that they were in victory formation. So typically, defensive players tend to relax, because of victory formation. I get what Octavia says. Some defensive teams in those situations a little extra, but for the most part, they tend to relax. You're trying to get out of there. The year's over. So the only concern I have is I wouldn't want the defensive team, somebody to take like a career-ending injury or something like that in that moment. However, it's the NFL. You should probably have your head on a swivel at all times. Secondly, other teams, when players have moments like that, something like that would have been taken care of earlier in the game for Jamal Williams?
Yeah.
Sorry, for the running back. Typically, you see good teams, well-run organizations, like that gets taken care of earlier, and like that could have been, you get down earlier in the game, your first score or what have you, get him his 1 yard touchdown. But that's from usually organizations a little bit of a better place, going forward. But yeah, to me it was two teams who would probably have two new coaches, new quarterbacks, etc. All this stuff going on. I don't think it was that deep. Arthur Smith, you're not going to be the Falcons head coach after this, and you probably messed up a big opportunity as a head coach with the weapons that you had, just not being competitive as a whole at times. And I get why you're upset, but I don't think this was some malicious act on your team or your coaching career or anything like that. And for Dennis Allen, I guess I take from it that the Saints players as a group care for each other deeply. And maybe there's a disconnect between them and him or whatnot. I don't know, but I just don't think it's that deep on the grand scheme of things.
It's just a respect thing because you undermined the coach, and that makes him look bad. And then at the same time, look what the opposing coach. I mean, he had a right to be mad because it's like, dog, we got our ass whooped. We getting up out of here. Now he come out and cussing out the coach for no reason on camera and stuff like that. And the coach, he really don't even probably understand what's going on. So he got in the locker room, and then the players said that. it just screams you don't have control. It just sends a bad message. And my thing is, I've been on teams like that where players try to go rogue, and it creates a little group where they feel like they got to do the same thing, or where they feel like if you let them get away with it at one time, they feel like they can carry it on. And once they carry it on, that's what causes a divide in the locker room that you can't get back. You can't bring the players back and stuff like that. You got to nip that in the bud, man. It's all about respect. You know what I mean? And my man want to get his touchdown, that's fine. But my man, you had 17 games to get a touchdown. That ain't gonna change nothing, bro. He's man out most of the year. You injury prone. You gotta prove otherwise. You'll be okay. You see what I'm saying? Now, what message does that send? Now, James did it. That's fine. But what message does that send to all the other teams in the league about him and all these other players that was in agreement with it? Why would they want him? Because you know how ego crazy a lot of these coaches are, where it's like it's my way or the highway. So how you gonna get another job? That's not thinking. And for what? Neither one of y'all going anywhere any damn way. So it's about just doing what's right, man. They wave the white flag. Hell, even in war, motherfuckers say, all right, they wave the white flag. They just handcuff them dudes and take them and capture them. They don't go in there just killing everybody. They show some mercy. So why would I do that in the damn sports world? All that extra bravado, man. I don't care. That's fake shit, man. You had all the rest of the game to show all that, man. Like that's fake stuff. You ain't proving you tougher enough by just running up the score or anything like that. Like the game over. You see what I'm saying? So man, get up out of there. Last game of the season. Y'all start y'all all season. Most of y'all gonna probably be looking for new jobs and coaching opportunities any damn way. So get up out of there. It's just a mess that really shouldn't have been. Because had they knew, we wouldn't be talking about this, would we? So just do the right thing. We're gonna move forward. Terrible news on the NBA side. Memphis Grizzlies superstar Ja Morant will undergo season-ending surgery on his right shoulder. Team announced Monday night. Morant suffered a right shoulder separation during a training session Saturday, causing him to miss Sunday's road win over the Phoenix Suns. He underwent an MRI that revealed an underlying labral tear and will require surgery to repair, according to the team. Morant expected to be fully recovered for the start of the 24-25 season. The Grizzlies went 6-3 with Morant in the lineup, matching Memphis win total during the 25-game suspension he served to begin the season. We all know what happened. Morant was suspended for conduct detrimental to the league, brandishing a firearm last season during an Instagram Live video. Morant will be the second Memphis star to undergo season-ending surgery. Steven Adams will miss the entire season after undergoing surgery during the preseason to repair the PCO in his right knee, an injury that had sidelined the center since January of last year. The Grizzlies are in 13th place in the Western Conference with a 13-23 record. Ray, man, just what are your thoughts on when it rains, it pours, man? What are your thoughts on Mr. Morant being out for the season?
Yeah, man, you took the words right out of my mouth. It sucks for him, man, and for the team. Especially since he's been playing so well, and they've been playing so well collectively since he's been back. But I just hope he can stay in a good place mentally, because like that's tough, to come off the suspension, then you come back, things are kind of going well for you on the court, and then in a blink of an eye, your season's over. Yeah, that's a lot for a young player. And for them as a team, like they just the roller coaster they've been on the past year or so, they look like a team that could possibly be contending at some point. I think me and Wilson talked last week about how short those windows are, and you got to take your opportunity when you have it. This is a roadblock for them, definitely. But yeah, just for him from a personal standpoint, just hope he can stay positive, come back at full strength and, get things rolling again next year. But yeah, definitely sucks, man. Because he's one of the most exciting players in the league. He's the best player on their team. And yeah, it's just tough, terrible timing.
Wilson.
Yeah, it's probably the worst thing for the Memphis Grizzlies to hear. You're going through what you're going through while he was out. Probably worried about him kind of probably, just being in the right place of mind to come back. And he hit the ground running first game back. Reminded everyone why he's the franchise guy. And they started to look like them again while he's been back. And, it sucks to see him injured. I wish him a speedy recovery, just a healthy recovery, just to take the time, as Ray said, to get all the way right. Hopefully, once you recover a little bit, get a chance to kind of continue to just strengthen up the body, because they need you to get through seasons. This team sorely needs you on the court, regardless, off the court, whatever. They need you on the court. But yeah, it just sucks for Memphis. It sucks for the league. It's a tough blow for sure. Because again, like the buzz that was back once he came back this season, like that, those were two totally different Memphis teams. One was like, hey, League Pass watch. What's going on with the Grizzlies every night? The other one was, man, when does Ja get back? They are going through it. This is not fun to watch. And, again, just wish him a speedy recovery. But, yeah, I think we were getting off was his Outlook last night, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, my God, it was just a blow. It stunk to read.
Octavia.
Yeah, I think the one thing you guys said that I think is probably that's like a really telling tale is how fast things can change. To think about where he was as far as a couple of years ago, being the face of his franchise, possibly being the face of the league on his way to just the type of player that he was, and those small derailments of things threw him off his case or threw him off of his path. And then it's unfortunate now that he's being thrown off even more due to an injury. And you think about it, that 1 year, when they were doing really well in the West, and I think they were going back and forth with Golden State, and the arguing and all of that stuff about what team is better. Like they had a golden chance there. And just to see from that time to now, all the injuries, all of the changes in the rotations and the team. It's definitely a tough time, but also like Ray said, like I'm hoping that he's able to keep his mental fortitude, tough, because it's definitely got to be very, very disheartening to go through a situation like this, to have been suspended for the first 25 games of the season, but be able to practice with the team. So being around them, trying to get everything together, finally come back, have the coming out party for this year that he had, to now be done for the year is definitely a wave of emotions. So I'm hoping, a speedy recovery for him. And definitely, like Wilson said too, hopefully, after he's able to get, his surgery and rehabilitate himself, he's able to get his body in a stronger position, because as much as he high flies and he falls a lot, so want to make sure that he's going to be able to be durable to make it through a full season as well.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. Two parts to this for me is this is why you ramp up. This is why you have training camp. This is why you must practice. It's hard to jump in when the season's in full swing and everybody's in full game mode and you just jumping in and you haven't had that proper ramp up and just throw your body in there and think you can match what everybody's been dealing with, man. Your body is not ready to go. It's just not. And that's why he had our run. And he's in the way he dunks, that's even going to be tough, because he does full extension back dunks. That's going to be even tough, man. You know what I mean? So for people that think you could just hop in games and just hoop at a high level and practice and do certain things, man. Not saying he wasn't working out, because he was in shape, he's ready to go. But it's hard to jump in when everybody's in full swing. Everybody has adapted, and you still trying to get to that point. Your body's not ready to take the counter, take the contact, take the wear and tear. And he probably put pressure on himself, like, man, I got to get these games back, man, because we in a hole and stuff and going super hard. Your body like, hold up, partner, I ain't ready yet. You know what I mean? This too much, and something's bound to break down. The other part is for youngins, when you got it, you got to seize the moment, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. And I said this a couple years ago when they started flexing and all that. Like you gotta be careful because that window, you've seen it happen with a lot of teams on the verge, and they don't get back, and then sooner or later that franchise moves on from that special play. Like we ain't winning with you though. We about to start this thing over. We gonna look for another job. So all that flexing and stuff, you going at it with Shannon Sharp and all that, you was hot then. It ain't looking so hot now, man. And you gotta seize the moment, stay locked and stay focused. When you're young, you think you got all the time in the world. But when you get on my age on the other side, you look back, you realize it was very short and went by quick. And then that's when you realize, like, damn, you wish you could have did things different, man. And I'm hoping that's not the case with him. But it hasn't been. I mean, I can't think of many young teams where they had it. They had the moment right there in front of them. They failed to seize it, and once that window closed, they were able to reopen it. I haven't seen. I really haven't seen a young team reopen it. I just haven't. Once it closes, it closes, and so his mistakes have literally cost his team. Honestly, it's the leader. 2 seasons, bro. We don't know what Steven Adams gonna look like next time. When he get back, we don't know if certain guys gonna be there. That's what happens with the future. I can go all the way back to when we were kids, Orlando. We didn't know Shaq was gonna be like, I'm going to LA. That's a wrap. We didn't know Tracy McGrady was gonna go to Orlando. You know what I'm saying? Like Lee Vince. Vince still has some good years, but that put a ceiling on what they could do with Toronto. Then he eventually rolled. We can go look Clippers, the Blazers, the 2000 Blazers and stuff like that. Hell, Kobe and Shaq was on the verge. Had they not won that first championship, they was gonna blow that thing up. They was gonna blow it up. And Phil Jackson tried to blow it up. He was gonna trade Kobe for Grant Hill, Jason Kidd. He tried. And Bus said no. And luckily for them, but it wasn't working. So when you got the moment, you gotta seize it. The Chicago with the Derrick Rose years, they had it. And he blew out his knees. It's just youngins these days don't like to just listen even more, and it's harder to get them to listen because of social media. It's harder when a couple of OGs like, yo, just focus. But then they get on their phone and there's thousands of millions of people like, you're great, man. Keep doing what you're doing. It's going to be hard to listen to the couple like, yeah, you ain't there yet. The couple people, you ain't there yet. And that's what you kind of see right here. And then when it finally hits, it's like, damn, he was right. But it's too late. And it ain't nothing nobody can do to save you. You know what I'm saying? And then once that rebuild starts, heads gonna roll, man. Players gonna go. You don't know if the coach gonna be there. You just don't know, man. So you got to seize the moment. But hopefully this window isn't closed. But we can say this: it's closing. It may not be closed, but it's closing. So get healthy, get your act together, and come back and just hoop. You know what I mean? One more question, and we're gonna get up out of here. We definitely got to talk about this. This is on his podcast. The Draymond Green Show said he seriously considered retirement when the NBA suspended him indefinitely, but Commissioner Adam Silver talked him out of it. Quote, I told Adam, this is too much for me. This is too much. It's all becoming too much for me, and I'm going to retire. And Adam said, you're making a very rash decision. I won't let you do that. We had a long, great conversation, very helpful to me. Very thankful to play in the league with the commissioner like Adams, who's more about helping you than hurting you, helping you than punishing you. He's more about the players. The NBA lifted an indefinite suspension on Saturday, but Green did not play and go to City's loss to Toronto on Sunday. The Warriors are 7-6 in Green's absence, and they are 17-19 overall and in 11th place in the Western Conference. They play the New Orleans Pelicans on Wednesday, but it has not been determined when Green will return to game action. The NBA suspended Green indefinitely December 13th for striking Phoenix Sun Center. He used Nurkic in the face during the game the day before. Green was forthcoming and emotional in the podcast. Quote, I was wrong. I accept my fault in that and I apologize. It brings pain. I have a wife. I have children. I have parents. I have grandparents, siblings, friends that I embarrass, and it hurts. My mom experienced death threats. I have 2 children that are of school age, and they have to go to school. Mr. Wilson, just what your thoughts on Mr. Draymond and his conversation with the commissioner, and the 50th apology he has had over the last 5 years.
Man, I knew you was gonna do that. I miss David Stern. I miss David Stern. Where I couldn't have been a commissioner. You know what conversation? You want to know what response? When it came back from me? All right, bet I'm out. That's so easy. And then I'm calling Golden State to figure out monetary. Like, I'm still gonna make y'all pay for wasting my time with his actions. I should have been ejectocito. Like, why? It took this, and then even then, the threat of you having to sit with your thoughts and hold yourself accountable made you think about retiring? Are we serious, right? And then you came out and said it out loud? I would have took that with me when that time came. The threat of holding myself accountable almost made me quit my job, my dream job. Not injury, not ups and downs on the job, but the threat of holding myself accountable. You're kidding me, man. I honestly don't care. Golden State, from here on out, this is officially on you. Don't nobody say anything. You had every opportunity. Like, what else does he have to do? It's ridiculous. Like, he would have came back to a new team if this was me. What are we doing? Are you about to instantly come help everything that's going on this year? No, we're here because you did last year. All the time. Yeah, just whatever, Adam, whatever, Draymond. I see why the players, I'm sure your approval rating is top notch with the players. And that's how I know something's wrong. Like, y'all shouldn't like the commissioner. You should respect him. Fear? Probably not, but some of you should. Instead, it's, well, you should stay here. I can't let you do that. I would have let you do it immediately. Immediately. Like, this is the type of stuff where I'd be like, NFL's not always so bad. But it's okay. Again, like I said, I miss David Stern, and I'm going to shut up if I say some words. So.
Octavia.
Yeah, it gave this whole, like, woe is me. Everybody felt bad for me. Oh, my God, I have so much going on. But I'm a broadcast it on my podcast so y'all can come and watch it. It was just too much for me too. It's like, come on, bro. Like, I felt like it was like he wanted us to all feel sorry for him. And I'm like, nobody feels sorry for you, bro. Like, you put yourself in this situation. Like you said, he could have held I was going to retire. Like, this is probably going to sound like a terrible analogy, but it's the only thing I can think of right now. It's like those kids that be like, I'm gonna commit suicide. I'm running away from home and I'm never coming back. And you're like, okay, you just want me to say that I love you and I miss you and just come here and give me a hug. It's like you're dying for attention. And it's just like, just take it. You took the suspension, you did whatever you did, just come back and be like, I was wrong. I'm ready to move forward. Nobody needs to know you contemplated retirement for whatever reason, because I mean, you literally just said you got a wife and 2 kids. I hope you got enough money saved up for them. But it was very like, kind of like passive aggressive, like, feel bad for me. What was me? I'm not the problem. I have all these things. Like, it just was a bit much for me. I would have respected it a lot more if he just really didn't say anything, to be honest. Just kind of came back and just was like, I'm ready to work. And this also proves, again, there's too many podcasts for NBA players. Like, this is not needed to be broadcast. I'm sure Adam Silver is probably like, why did you tell everybody this too? Like, I don't get it, but just come back and hoop. Like, that's really all we care about. If you was gonna retire, retire. If you're not, you didn't. So I don't know why you need to tell us that you thought about it. Okay, sounds cool. Cool story, bro.
Go ahead, Ray. I see you itching, man. Go ahead. Let loose.
Hey, bro, playing with our intelligence, yeah. Nobody threatened your mother's life over you hitting Yusuf Nurkic, dog. Like, chill out. I don't think Adam Silver personally begged you not to retire. Like, come on, man. It's getting to a point where, like Wilson said, I also miss David Stern. This would have been handled a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Like, bro, like, I'm pretty sure at this point, when he's talking about something I thought about retiring, the Warriors low key are probably like, yeah, you probably should have solved this problem for us. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, this is ultimate attention-seeking behavior, trying to garner sympathy. Like, nah, dude, we don't want to hear from you anymore. Like, yeah, this is foolishness. Like Octavia said, too many podcasts, too many microphones. People get in front of their mics and cameras and just lose all sensibility. But yeah, bro, nobody sent death threats to your mom over a player that 95% of the people don't even know who it is. So yeah, I'm not buying that one. But your best bet at this point is to probably shut up. But it's Draymond, so we know he's not going to do that. But yeah, I'm just ready for it to be over at this point. Yeah, go ahead and hang it up, bro, because on the court, it's looking like it's about that time anyway. So
yeah, I didn't watch it. I just saw clips. The first thing that came to my mind is, man, Clutch a beast with these narrative smells, man. Clutch, oh my God. It's like Rich Paul wrote that by himself to gain sympathy. Like, that's the first thing I thought about, bro. I'm like, you took a page right on LeBron's. Like, dog, man, who wrote that? Like, that was right on time. So you come back on your podcast, all that, get a little money out of it, all that. Like, woo. Man, they're smart, but no one's buying that BS, that manipulation crap, man. You it's like the kid throws a rock and hides his hands, man. Come on, man. Like, you've been ran out of sympathy cards, bro. Understand it, bro. It's just shut up and hoop, man. And no, and I'm like, Ray, I agree with you, bro. Adam Silver, he just said you're making a rash decision. Calm your emotional ass down. He didn't say anything about, nah, I don't retire. Like, we really got to talk about this. No, dude. The NBA will be just fine if you retire. I'm just keeping it about it. The NBA will continue to go on, man. Like, they will. You know what I'm saying? Yes, David Stern would have been handled. It seemed like he taking a shot at that. He really cares about the players. David Stern cared too. He supported Magic Johnson when he had a situation, supported Jordan when he had a situation. He cared about a lot of players too. Connie Hawkins. See, everybody think David Stern is this tyrant. He the one that really said, yo, enough is enough. Y'all did some Connie Hawkins wrong. He did nothing wrong. He was caught up in just being associated with wrong people. He did nothing wrong. Let him in the NBA. He did that. So as much as David Stern gets a bad rap for being and at times tough, which he should have been, look what the NBA became, I'll applaud it, because that's what these dudes need. They're very manipulative, man. Like, athletes do that. They'll play with you. You see what I'm saying? They'll play with you if you allow it. They're playing with Adam Silver. And that's one of the things I just don't respect. He's a very man, dog. He should be. He should have, like, I'd have been like, what do you, 12, 13 games? I'd have hit him with at least 25. You'd have felt that. You get that John Morant treatment, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you're literally hitting people. Jordan Poole, this situation and stuff like that. Like, you don't get a pass, man. And really, you doing all this, you acting out because you can't play anymore. Father Time is catching up, not just to you, to a lot of your team. It just comes with the territory. So I agree with all y'all. There's way too many podcasts. One thing about controlling the narrative with players' version of controlling the narrative is they only control in a way that benefits them. It's never the full truth in the matter. To me, it's kind of hard to have LeBron James dunk on me, then I go get on the microphone on the podcast, though, and then like talk about it. That's just very weird to me, but that's me. He better hoop, man, because this will. I just if he continues to play like he's been playing, how can you keep him? Especially with all the damage he's done. And then he apologized for, I saw another guy, he apologized for Stephen A. questioning Steph Curry's leadership and stuff. Yeah, homie. When you act out, it's a team game. It impacts everybody. So Steph is catching strays, especially from the clutch sanction of the basketball world and all that, because he got 4 rings and he matching their king and stuff like that. Everybody's catching strays. Steve Kerr catching strays. You got DeMarcus Cousins talking about, hey, man, it's not blowed up. He ain't never been a coach and stuff like that. I'm like, DeMarcus, you of all people to talk. You think we forgot about the Sacramento years? Like, really? You see what I'm saying? It's just too much, man. Everybody don't need to talk, bro. Some dudes just need a hoop. And I hate to sound ignorant, man, but that white lady had a point now, man. It's just like, damn, dog, she was kind of right. Because they make it matters worse, man. So Draymond just hoop. If you ball, I'm not saying all will be forgiven or forgetting. People will at least get back to respect you. Because right now you just a bully in the yard, and you will select the bully. And where I'm from, that's sucker stuff. You're very selective in who you try to bully. You don't do it to everybody. See, that's the problem. So if you're not going to play the role all the way through, don't do it at all, because you're not motivating your team. You're just hurting your team. And you're a 4-time champion. You old as hell. What you doing that for? If you need to rile up your team, get in the face of them, make them challenge. Or how about this? Play better and help them win games. It's not that hard. So yeah, I had to get your thoughts on this, man, because this was just, oh man, the manipulation, man, the sympathy, man. It's like he wanted people to cry or something. Like, no. Get your ass back on the court and try to salvage a year before they make the decision to end this thing.
Bro, it's just disgusting. Like, just do me a favor. Come back, show up to work so I can trade you. Like,
clutch, man.
Like, that's it. And go with them. Go. There's many places you can go. LA's not that far. Slide over there. Y'all have a blast, but go. Because and I think some people, and I dare not be quiet, like talk about Clay being honest, like the refreshing thing Clay said when he was talking about where he is in his state of his career and how he saw that, you know, he was being a selfish old player to a degree with some of the youngsters around. Dude, and this is why I rock with Klay Thompson, because everyone's human. You can have those moments, but you should also be able to be real. You should have some, when someone around you, you know, Steve and companies around you, to tell you about yourself, take the 2 seconds to listen and make sure it's not you that's thinking. And if Klay can sit there and do that, sir, you are giving less than Klay is giving right now off the 2 injuries he's had. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And there's no way in heck, unless, you know, you really live in a really weird, distorted version of reality, that you think any of those little kids on that team is going to respect you, let alone any of your peer group. Like, that was done. For what?
Like, no. When he hit Nurkic, you can see on the bench, everybody just like, a few of the dudes went like that, like, for real again. You see what I'm saying? And it's just like what you say. A pet peeve of mine is a man that keep making a mistake and don't want to be accountable and look in the mirror, bro. Like, dog, man up, dog. That's all you got. That's the first step. That's the first step to growth and not doing this crap anymore. Man it up. So many dudes are afraid to man up. We all make mistakes. Now, when you a habitual line stepper like, damn, Draymond, you don't even got that luxury anymore, bro. At this point, you need to be forced to man up. And that's why I have a problem with Adam Silver and the Warriors. The Warriors got to take some blame for this too. They could have did the same thing. They could have. You know, you need to go away for a little bit. You get on my damn nerves, dog. You see what I'm saying? It's just crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? This dude is, man. He's a character, man. And the thing is, I've been a Draymond supporter. I'm like, no, when they be like he trash, you know, like, no, he's valuable to that team. You gotta understand the impact he made. They don't win those 4 rings without him. And then you do dumb stuff like this. You, for all we know, you probably the main reason that sparked Kevin leaving in the first damn place, showing them up in that game. When you know damn well you should have taken the last shot. When have you ever taken the last shot? Consistent, dog. Just go through the years. Consistent, dog. It's consistent, man. You should have been got chin checked. You should have been got checked one way or another. You should be broke in the house with a broken jaw, with a wide jaw. That's it. That should have been happening. I'm just being real. So it's on you, Wilson, bro. But this joint was hilarious. I'm just looking at that, just like, you can't be serious.
Oh, and of course, the day that this happened is also they had to hold off the re-upping with the volume. His podcast getting a contract extension. They had to extend it because he got suspended on the date they were going to announce it. So your priorities are, bro. There is not one positive, endearing thing right now. Bless Steph Curry's patient heart.
That's a patient ass dude.
That's it. Like, this is why you still alive. You trying to tell me Steve Kerr and the teammates he's had through his career is just, oh my God, Draymond, yes, everything. Right. And shout out to Bob. That boy just rolled. Shout out to Bob. And shout out to Bob, bro. My man was like, you want to know what? Want some chips? I do like the NFL. Think about this. Bro, you drove Bob to the NFL. Because they can't do what you do. Good job, man. Shout out to you. Want to thank you guys for tuning in this week, man. Glad to have everyone back this week. Glad to have you guys back this week as well. Enjoy Super Wild Card weekend or whatever, and enjoy college basketball over the next few days. NBA as well. Wizards fans, do your best to try to enjoy that. And we will check back in with you guys next week. You out. This was an episode of the Focus TV.